It's the 11th African Women Writers Symposium here at the Soweto Theatre, and it's a space in which writers, aspiring writers, and people who've started the process can really collaborate, come together and workshop through what it means to be a writer today, but also go through what are some of the challenges in which that persist for women writers to break into the space and to have their voices heard. But I do want to speak with some writers here who are making their mark, and perhaps I can start with you, Olive. Just take us through why you wanted to get involved in this symposium.
I think, being able to do a workshop that involves the younger generation is so important, because when I was in school, we were still doing some poetry that, wasn't necessarily from local writers or even female writers. And these young people have so much potential. So to be part of this and for them to have this opportunity to share their work, for us to engage with them, I think is so important. So that's why I really wanted to be part of the workshop today. Yeah.
And Vuyokazi, maybe you can shed some light on what challenges exist for young African, as black writers, to break into the space?
I think primarily the lack of infrastructure, in that we do know that the facilities are there, but there's a sense of needing to bridge the gap between what is available and what people know how to access, you know what I mean? That there are spaces where you can get help as a writer trying to get published, but who do you speak to? Who there looks like me? Who there is aware of my challenges? I think I'm always excited to be able to stand in the gap and be able to, in one way or another, bridge access, pass the baton over to the next generation of young writers, and if possible some sort of skills transfer, where you consider what it would have taken for me back in the day, that I can help bridge for the next person. How do I make it easier? How do I ensure that we sustain what we're doing, that beyond our generation, the next wave of writers to come knows what to do and knows what's possible? So, yeah.
Absolutely. Now, Vuyokazi, maybe I can put this question to you. There's been some criticism around the diminishing of the importance of humanities and people reading and having a curiosity about the world and thinking deeply. Do you also sense that there is some sort of erosion within the respect for humanities subjects at our universities, at school levels?
I think the need will always be there, and I think it's also upon us as practitioners to always affirm the need, try and find avenues in which our work can be relevant beyond, if you're a writer, the page and publishing. How do we make the work accessible to the public? Because we write so that people can connect with it, but then there is a rift in terms of what we do to make the work accessible. With social media now, if we're saying that people have a shorter attention span for books, am I writing in those spaces? There are blogs, there are all kinds of things that we can do. People have WhatsApp stories that they circulate. How do I make sure that my work is legible? How do I make sure that it's accessible to these people that we complain are not reading? Because they're reading something. If it's not your work, then, hey, what are you doing to make sure that it is?
And I guess, Olive, perhaps we can end off with you. Any words of encouragement for young writers?
I think I would say that it is possible, because when I was in high school, I didn't necessarily know that this was a path that I could follow. But I think as I engaged more, I think there's something to be said about sometimes the perception from the outside that things are not possible. But I think once you take those steps, one more after the other in terms of writing and opportunities, you'll find that there are some things that are out there and there are people that are making spaces. So I would encourage young writers to not be discouraged if they don't see it happening from the outside. But once you step in, then you'll find out that there is a world of opportunity that is becoming increasingly more available for us.